This is just such a good bike for these roads. Delicious in the Dales.
My name's Guy Kestevan. I've been a professional bike tester for nearly 25 years. Today I'm at the fantastic Yorkshire Dales Bike Centre, where Stewie is currently explaining to Carl about the mountain bike ride he's going to do, but I am about to hit the roads around here on the fantastic Vielo R+1. It's a bike I've been riding for a few months now, but what I really want to answer is, can a single ring road bike tackle the steepest hills in the Yorkshire Dales? And how will it feel on them? So, let's go.
So the idea is heading up Swaledale, gonna go into Wensleydale as well, and then over to Wharfdale. Gonna take in some of the sort of classic headline climbs, the big ones like Fleet Moss and Park Rash, which if you know your road climbs you'll have heard of. They're up there in the top 100 scenes of the struggle, Dales Mega Sportive, events like that, and just generally legendary ascents. But also I've made sure we've included some of the lesser known little evils like the Fleet, which we're coming up to next, and some others out the back of Aysgarth, which you really have to dig around. I mean, there's plenty of steep hills, but to get the pure pain of the double arrows you have to dig around a bit, and that's what I've done. It's a Sram Red Force group set on this build with 44 tooth Vielo's own chainring and a 1036 block out back. But one of the beautiful things about that 1036 block 12 speed is that the first four cogs still only one tooth apart, so when I'm cruising now, top end of the block, still really closely matched gears. Plus 28mm tyres on these zip fire crests mean I can run them down to 60 psi for extra float and grip on these descents. Coming up to the pointy part of the Fleet now. It's quite funny. This hammerhead unit I'm using today, it's actually got a little gradient bar on it, so it knows when it's going to go into the red, and there's plenty of that on this route. But you know, bike weight 7.27 kilos in this spec with the no pedals on, 900g frame. There's Trevor in Ian doing the extra camera footage. Proper film shoot today, so low weight anyway, 900g frame, well, sub 900g frame, but plenty of kick through those symmetrical stays, that big press fit bottom bracket. So regardless of the gearing, belting bike to climb on, so smooth as well on these fire crests. 28mm tyres on, 60 psi, tubeless obviously, so even when you're on quite a heavy road like this, just glides. I'm not even anywhere close to the bottom of the cassette yet, so definitely working out well so far. Like I say, you know, riding this bike for a few months now, done nothing but impress, and a real head turner too, which is always good to have in a bike. Even in Harrogate, this gets a lot of looks and comments when you lean it up at a bike calf, and Harrogate is fancy. You can keep your Pinarellos and your top end Colnagos though. Let's have something properly independent, properly different, that still rides equally as good, if not better. Has a real sense of style and individuality, not just a Wiggins wannabe or a Podjakar Mini-Me. Loving this bike. Loving these hills as well. Made that one very manageable. Still got gears left. But of course, the joy of climbing is you get the descending. And this is a beauty. So let's all that subtle air on the frame, that shrouded that wheel, and that fantastic frame feel and handling take care of the faster stuff. Tally-ho! And now we've climbed up above semi-water. So, a little drop down, and another tasty little bonus climb. The last time I came through here, it's in sheet ice. That'd be actually a gravel bike video I did, but nice bit of 1 in 4 over this beautiful old bridge. So we're going straight to some follow cam footage behind the van. You don't need to see me suffering. So it's the utterly gratuitous semi-water counter set detour done, just for the savagery of those gradients. Nearly 30% in places. I'm not gonna lie. Well, that was standing up. It's limited to how much you can push a 32.2 inch gear seated, but like I say, still a lot kinder than a old school 39/28. Not far off 34/28 either, if you're running a compact chain set. And this axis gearing, you know, I've reviewed it before. It's just so good. It's properly flawless. It really is. So to commit the frame fully to it, that's just such a great piece of definitely niche, but really nice dedication of the frame. Oh, this bike loves just coming up through the gears. And now we're rolling onto one of the proper iconic climbs around here, Fleet Moss, out the back of Halls. So just tempo up to here, and as you can see, kicks a bit, and you got 2 little steeper ramps at the not quite top, and you got a fair old drag to the summit. And that's exactly what me Caru is saying. You can see that. I do like this feature, not least because it's almost perfectly colour matched to the Vielo. That sort of mustard yellow and greeny blue. Nice. It's the little things. That's what makes this bike so fabulous, really. It's the kind of niche stuff you can do when you're not trying to sell to a mass market. Like the fact it's purely wireless only. There's only holes for the internal hose routing for the brakes. Can't put Di2 in it, can't put cable in it. A slightly cheaper frame, slightly heavier one, 1,000 grams rather than sub 900. You can wire that up whichever way you want, but this is properly pure. And I just, you know, it's another reason to love it, to really cherish this kind of properly individual design. Not least the fact it's spooling up here beautifully. And I've just slipped it into the 36 on the back now, just to keep this final pitch nice and manageable. And because, you know, a single ring, no drama with the front chain ring grinding or dropping, or it's a thick thin tooth design, so it's nice and secure, boosted longevity as well. It's just so clean, the way it looks, the way it works. I've always been a big single ring evangelist, but it's really good to prove it on proper roads, on a bike that's fully committed to it. You know, they've used it to create that extra tyre space, that stiffer, broader seat tube and bottom bracket area. Properly maxed out the advantages, not having to squeeze a front mech. And second chainring in there, but still keep the chain line perfect. That's why they run a custom chain set, or at least custom chain rings, just to run everything as close as they can without shaving the paint. The whole bike just feels beautifully pure and clean to ride. Low tyre pressure, and that slight deliberate smoothness in the frame is, it's not the snappiest bike I've ever ridden, but in full on, you know, leather seat, luxe interior, Bentley Continental GT style, the way this covers miles, conquers climbs is just serene and yet super easy. And this is the steepest pitch. Fleet Moss, still chatting away. Happy days.
That was a lot quicker than we thought.
Lovely day for a chat.
In a just. Then I was going to run with me bobbing along.
Can I, mate? I'll admit, I use bob gear then. Is why I think it's always best coming up from the horse side. Yeah! Start as you mean, go on. I am normally such a coward on road descent, just because I'm used to all that grip off-road. But this bike is just so confident, so calm and settled. Frame, the handling, the wheels. Just feels fantastic. Every apex is your ally. Every widening exit is just an excuse to wind it on. Hell yeah! Oh yes, Vielo! Dialed! Totally dialed! Woo! And it's just a joy to ride on these roads. Throwing it through the corners and then punching out, contouring down along these streams. What a stunning day on a stunning bike. And this is a relatively stock spec, but Vielo will build it up however you want. I was going to say within reason, but to be honest, I've seen some incredible custom builds come out of them. So, go beyond reason. The frame's certainly worth it. Or you can just buy the frame, build it up, move some parts off your old bike, whatever. That's the beauty of having a really small, responsive, customer service focused company. You know, there's just Ian, Trevor, and then Jens, the designer over in Germany. And if you know your Yorkshire Dales road routes, you all know exactly where I'm heading next. Out the back of Kettlewell, towards Leyburn. Up the infamous Dark Rush. And there she is. Absolute leg and heartbreaker. That first section there. Up to the wood. So, definitely a single ring challenge. Here we go. Joys of Park Rash. Beloved of struggle sportivers, still photographers. Are you running with me, Trevor?
We're there yet?
Hey?
We're there yet?
Nearly there. The guys at the bottom made me say I wouldn't stand up. So there you go. There's a challenge. This is a steep bit. Oh, that's sticky. we go. 44.36. It goes. Although wide range probably would be easy at this point. It goes in the saddle. And out. See you later, love. Characterise this by this R+1 as an athlete. I've been thinking about this quite a lot. I've had some, you know, it's been a great time in the saddle today. I'd say it's maybe not the outright fastest one sprint rocket ship ground, but its recovery powers are incredible. So every time you begin a fresh little kick here, or you know, a hill mellows out in the middle and then rises again like this one, it just feels totally fresh and easy again. Hasn't completely spent you on the first sprint or the first kick. It's just always there, helping you, making things easier, reducing fatigue, rolling you on that bit smoother, looking after you on the descents. Just, it's a real speed sustainer, energy stretcher, ego massager. It's lush, that's what it is. Bloody lush. Oh, that breeze is glorious. And you know, there's just a little bit less drag clinging to you thanks to the profile inlet frame, that narrower cockpit, even little things like the little facet the water bottle sits in, just to smooth the airflow a bit. It's all helping just give you free speed all the time, and the way it just smooths out the rougher road surfaces, lets you carry speed through corners. Brakes are getting a good workout today, as well as the gears. Discs have certainly gone a good colour. Still pressing the pedals firm, well beyond 50k. Not an issue. More than enough to turn with. Still got some left as well. So even though it's only a 360% range, compared to 500 plus for mullet or wide, still plenty to go at. And it's close to spread as well. If you go eagle on the road, you're really going to notice those gaps. Whereas this has no more gaps. And the standard setup, really. Even if you have a double chainring, there's so much kind of overlap, duplication. You're probably only getting 13, 14 gears out of a possible 24 that are genuinely different. Last time I did the maths. Whereas here, of course, you've got 12 really well spaced. Or if you go for the e-car version, there's going to be a video on that soon. 13 speed. That might go down to a 9 sprocket for an even bigger range. But on the road, you're just not worrying about it. That's the main thing to say. It's just not an issue. Not an issue at all. It's all about just enjoying the ride, the grip, the handling, the flow of this bike. Making the most of these fantastic roads. There you go. I was going to say, and that's no bull, but here's a couple. That'll do. Oh yes. Just lets you fully exploit the curve. Ha ha! I love this descent. Goes on for miles. But you need a bike you're confident on to really enjoy it. Now the trouble is, every time I start trying to explain stuff, it picks up speed so easily, the wind noise gets too much. I'll go again later. Too quick for video. Because I've mostly been focusing on the climbs, I haven't really talked about just how well this bike just covers ground effortlessly. on this sort of rolling back roads. Got a little bit more rollover from the tyres on the fatter rims. You've got aero profiling on the frame, where it shrouds the back wheel, where it's a proper integrated cockpit that tucks everything away neatly. There's nothing, no giblets hanging out the bottom and everything, but it's still really nice, comfortable, smooth. I've ridden some horrible integrated cockpits recently, really harsh. You know, they look good, but really don't help the ride quality. This is just totally in sync with the rest of the bike. I even like the fact it's narrower than most. That little bit of aero advantage. Kind of slightly old school. It's not twitchy and slack head angled. It's got a real rouleur feel to it. It's just such a classy ride. Just holds the line beautifully. No fuss, no drama. Even when you're swinging it through tightening turns down big Dales descents. Nah, it's got you covered. You're fine. Don't fret it. And of course you can go even bigger on the tyres if you want. It'll take a 32mm. Loads of different build options in terms of the axis gears. Even go mullet if you want. Obviously you can't go wide range because that's a double chain set, but I think it's proved today if you're fit enough, then single ring gives you more than enough gear range, even for a proper punchy course like we've done today. Above all, I've just loved riding it. It's just been blissful riding experience, just from the frame quality. So good. Everything just coming together, all those tiny little details. I mean, some of them scare me. I'm not a massive fan of the tiny little bolts and tiny little Torx heads on the stem and the chain rings, but get a good quality Allen key and go steady. Not had any problems at all, and it just makes everything look that little bit neater, that little bit more high class and bespoke. And that's what this bike oozes. And it's not even madly expensive compared to an off-the-peg bike, but it gives you so much more in terms of exclusivity. To summarise, as we hie the last hill over to Reef, this has been a beautiful day, but a deliberately brutal one in terms of terrain, and turns out in terms of temperature too. But this R+1 has made it an absolute joy. Even if the road rises up again like it's doing now. So easy. Power drive from that BB and the smooth flow onwards. Never wastes a watt, but never makes you feel like you're getting punished for having that performance either. In fact, the opposite. Super smooth. And in terms of traction on descents, it's like a slug on a dog bowl. It grips so well. There's Trevor. Some more fly past cam. Hopefully this is going to look really sweet, because this bike is a gift for photographs. Can't really appreciate it apart from that beautiful cockpit from point of view. But I'll do some selfie stick sections to really let you appreciate just how delicious the design of this bike is. But you have to take my word for how well this Vielo rides. Oh, so different yet so good. And it's just so beautifully designed throughout. From these relatively slim forks that brake as hard as you want on them. This down tube that's sculpted to fit around the water bottle. This fully integrated cockpit. Flat top stem. Still more than stiff enough out of the saddle, but super light and with totally tidy cable routing, custom GPS mount on there. That's going to be updated, so you're going to get like a light mount, GoPro mount underneath as well. Like I say, frame is completely wireless specific, so no ports that you don't need anywhere, just fully internal through the headset for the hoses, and then you don't see them again to right at the back. You got this beautiful Vielo chain set on these Sram carbon arms, then massively broad bottom bracket, chainstay head, then really neat dropouts, and then of course this signature laid back shelf there. There's a lot of bikes doing that feature, but none as dramatically as Vielo. And then you've got a Bespoke carbon seat post as well. And coming around to this side, you see you've got 3 bolt cages, and then really neat mount there for your flat mount rear. Really neat 12mm through axles, of course, front and rear, and just little details like the contrast panelling on the paintwork, how that mirrors the head badge. Yeah, this really is a truly special bike, and they're put together either by Vielo themselves in Gateshead, in Newcastle, or they're available from a few top dealers in the country. So you know you're going to get a beautifully finished, sorted bike straight from the get-go. You know, they're dedicated to making the whole experience as good as possible, from the first bit of design all the way through to delivery and aftermarket care. So, well, chauffeured through corners. Just a joy to make the most of these beautiful roads, dropping back into Smaledale. So there we go, job done. Job done brilliantly as well. Back into Dales Bike Centre on the R+1. Single ring point, very, very well proven. Yes, you can put the toughest terrain you want on your route planner and still tackle it no problem on a single ring. So there we go, had me brew and cake, and I can safely say that has been a fabulous ride on the R+1. I was genuinely a bit worried about taking a single ring bike over some of the climbs we hit today, especially in succession, especially in this kind of heat, but it has more than fronted up to the challenge. It's been an absolute joy to ride, and as much as, you know, this has been a kind of gear centric video, I think it's just the handling and the way this bike just flows through all the intermediate sections, just those rolling rough back roads that characterise Dales riding. That has been the real standout thing, and the fact I've been descending like a decent descender. Normally on road bike I'm pretty nervy, but this thing looks after you so well, like I say, so sure-footed. Anyway, you'll have hopefully realised all of that from the ride review. So all I've got to say is massive thanks to Vielo for lending me the R+1 for several months now, just so I could properly get my head around just how good this bike was, get really into the detail of it. Massive thanks to Zero Cycling for sponsoring the channel, and to PTs and Crud as well. Huge thanks to my Patreon subscribers who give a small monthly pledge to support the channel, and they get exclusive, extended, behind-the-scenes videos, plus they're all ad-free. So if you really like what I'm doing with the channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon. But for now, please click for notifications, click for subscriptions, and yeah, give this video a thumbs up, because if you do click for notifications, you'll be able to watch the videos that are upcoming on a quite different version of the R+1 and the brand new R+1 2, the latest incarnation of the gravel bike that I've been riding for years, but super excited to try this one. Very subtle changes, but I reckon they'll really add up.
But for now, I've been Guy Kesteven on Guy Kes TV at the fantastic Dales Bike Centre in beautiful Swaledale, having an absolute whale of a time on the sweetest, steepest local roads on Vielo's R+1 radical, beautiful single ring road bike.